So here's the recap on how I organize my data. Number 1, I organize it by category. 2, within those categories, I organize it chronologically, starting with the year and then the month. Number 3, within each month, I organize by project. 4, within those projects, the organization method that I detail later in the video. I mean, after all, if I told it to you right now, this wouldn't exactly be a recap. Number 5, I keep a dummy index of my volumes on my desktop so that I can easily find any project that I'm looking for. And then lastly, I go into details as to why the portable system works for me. I'm Matt Coakley, and this is a Blue Mantle tutorial. This tutorial is part 2 in a 3-part series on data management for video creators. If you'd like to see part 1, go ahead and click up here. That one is on source media and backups. This video is going to be on file organization, and next week we're going to be talking about project organization. I will give the caveat that I am an individual content creator. I don't have a team that I'm working with, and I recognize that it's not going to be the organization system that will work well for everybody or for everybody's needs. All right, so I guess with that, we'll just jump into it. Basically, I have 3 lines of hard drives: business, personal, YouTube. I'm unlikely to be working on a personal project and a YouTube project at the same time. But a lot of times, if I'm working on a YouTube project, I'm very likely going to be pulling from other aspects of YouTube stuff. By having it organized down, I have a pretty good idea right from the get-go where to find my data. Within each line of those hard drives, I organize my data chronologically. And then within that, I organize it by month. I also number them so that they actually stay chronological. Within an individual month, I then organize it by project. And I don't try to organize those chronologically. If I get it down to the month, that's close enough for my purposes to feel confident that I can find the data later. So as I continue working on projects, as a specific hard drive starts to fill up, then I simply buy 2 new hard drives, a main and a backup, and I start the next one. So here is my big tip. Have a zip file on your desktop that has your folder structure already worked out for you. Then you don't have to be creating folders, naming them, going into this folder, making another folder, naming it music, making another folder, naming it sound effects. You don't have to do that if you follow this method. I'm just gonna go through it real quick, give you an idea of the specific project organization that I use to keep track of all of my stuff. This is my root project folder. Within that, I have an audio folder, which has a music and a sound effects folder. Documents, this is more on the business side of things. If I'm working with a client, is where contracts would be. For a lot of my YouTube stuff, I don't use that, so I'm just gonna delete that right now. Graphics, either images or title cards. All of this gets populated as I start working on the project. Photos, for Ellicott City Snowfall, I didn't take any photos, so I'm going to delete that. My project folder is where I save those project files. And then lastly, the video folder. I organize it separately into sources. In sources, you will see aerials, animation, B-roll, interviews, screen recordings, and time lapses. Outputs, I like to have drafts and masters. Anytime that I'm working on a project, I always export to drafts, and only when I've watched it through and I'm confident this is the final version, then I will move it from the drafts folder into the masters folder. So that's my folder structure strategy. I want to give you one last tip, and that is this right here. This essentially is a dummy folder. It has no actual files in it. It just has a structure that is a clone essentially of all of my data across all of my lines of hard drives and all of my hard drives. You'll see here, look, 2018, we'll say January, 2018, January. Those are the projects that I worked on. I don't go any deeper than that. That is enough to get me to my specific project. So here's where it's awesome. We're gonna open up the volumes index, our dummy folder structure. We're gonna type in data management, and then we're gonna search just in volumes index. There it is. Get info. I can find that it is under volumes index, YouTube 7, 2018, February. Now I know exactly where to find it. It's nice because this is on my desktop, so I don't have to have any hard drives plugged in. I can just open it up, search, find the project I'm looking for, and then know which hard drive I need to plug in to be able to find that specific project. So the question may come up as to why I use portable hard drives instead of having a centralized system, a RAID system, or an NAS or something like that. I recognize that those systems are actually good for some people, but they're not good for me. As an individual creator, I found that this system works well. It makes it really easy to be able to travel. I can just take what I want to actually potentially work with while I'm traveling. And it's very expandable. All I have to do is buy new hard drives, and I have a system built in that it doesn't mess up the system when I add a new set of hard drives to these lines of hard drives. If you have any questions on any of the info that I've given, please leave a comment below. I really do try to respond to all of the comments, any questions that are asked of me. And if you want to see more content like this, please subscribe, as that will help grow this community. That's it for this episode. I know it was a long one. Thank you for sticking with me. We'll see you in the next one.